Hi.
Feodor.
Yes.
Hello. Friend. How are you? Great to see you again.
Me too. I've been looking forward to it. We saw each other now exactly a month ago.
Yes.
And we met at the Grim party. You were asking me about what I do. And I offered you to do this masterclass, and here we are. So today you're gonna get the full masterclass of my breathing formula. You get to experience it, and hopefully our experience is gonna benefit every other viewer who's gonna watch it later on.
Great.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And welcome, Bratan. I have my Bratan Karl here with me, and I'm very privileged to be teaching my masterclass. And it's been over 8 years since I did my first breathing exercise. I want to ask you, before we start, have you ever done any breathing exercises?
Just in ice cold water.
Okay, so you have done Wim Hof?
Something like this.
Yes.
Something like
And
this.
then you go into the water.
Yes.
Okay. You might know or not know there are thousands of different breathing techniques out there. And today I'm gonna teach you my method, which helped me heal, which helped me really change my life and become completely silent in my mind, obtain hyperfocus, sobriety, healthy sleep, and the best part is a total acceptance of myself and loving myself. I've only done one thing, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So, just to give you a heads up on my background, I was born in the Soviet Union in 1981, and at that time it was Leningrad, which is today St. Petersburg. And at the age of I guess I was 3, my parents, they started to not get along, and at that time we lived in a communal flat, which basically means it's a room in a flat and we all share one room. And my childhood has been up and down, and from an early age, from the first grade, I was sent to a boarding school, which was really traumatizing because I just really wanted to be at home. And at the age of 10, my parents, they divorced, and I immigrated to Denmark with my mother. And in Denmark, I was just, it was very different for me because in Soviet Union, or it was already Russia at that time, I was Fyodor Kuznetsov. And Fyodor Kuznetsov, it means Ted Smith in English. It's a very simple name. There's nothing special about it. But when I moved to Denmark, I was Feodor Kuznetsov, and I was getting bullied and teased for that. So in Russia, I was very, I had a pretty high self-esteem, but when I moved, that totally broke down. So each year that went by, I got my self-esteem lower and lower, and we lived in a very bad neighborhood. It's called Brabant. It still exists, and these were all refugees. They used to live at that time. So there were people from Palestine, from Iran, from Iraq, from all over the place, and it was a hard community to grow up in. So throughout my life, I've had these patterns that kept on repeating, and as you may have heard, the universe always expands. So every single habit or traumatic experience, it keeps on expanding and expanding and expanding, and then eventually it might grow into a disease. And in 2012, I have been by that time already ill for about 10 years, and I didn't know what was going on with me. The symptoms which I had was a stiffness in my back, a frozen shoulder, and many times I couldn't walk. So I had a problem with my left leg and the whole left side. Okay? I've tried healers, acupunctures, massages. I went to the Philippines and did the organ taking out healing stuff. I tried all of it. And nobody seemed to be able to help me. Yeah, only intermittent help. but I had no clue what was wrong with me. And by that time, I was already living in England. And I thought, okay, now I'm just going to go to a normal hospital and try to figure out maybe they will be able to help me. And I did that. They took a lot of tests on me, and in England, the NHS is free, so I could go and do as much tests as I wanted. And lucky for me, because of my career, I was living in Chelsea, so the tests I were getting done. I was getting the tests done in the Chelsea Westminster Hospital, which is like a semi-private hospital. So even if you're private or not private, you still go to the same doctor, which was great. It was a rheumatology department, and they did tests, and they told me they figured out what was wrong with me. They gave me a diagnosis. It's called AS, ankylosing spondylitis, HLBA27. Is a very long name, and basically it is an incurable thing that I had to now deal with. Okay, and that was a big breakthrough, because finally I know I could read something about it and see what it was, and so I did. And the doctor told me that I had to change my lifestyle, I had to go on a diet, I had to do more sport, and so on, and put me on medication. Okay? And I did that. The medication started to work. I went on the diet, I started to do more sport, I lost a lot of weight because I was 81 kilos at that time. I am quite short and I was a chubby. Yes, I lost all the weight and I did everything he suggested, and it was going okay. And by that time, I was working with, I've done a lot of things in my life. Like, I've worked since I was 12. In Denmark, my first job was a babysitter. And then I have been a dishwasher, and I worked as a cleaner. And then I went further to computers, to hardware. Then I was invited to the first tech startup in 2006. And I'm very technical, so I built my career in tech. And at that time, I was involved in a hot startup in Germany. And we've raised millions of euros in financing. So, but I was in battle with this disease at the same time, plus the things at home. So I wasn't healthy. Like, I was really struggling because sometimes I couldn't walk. So from 2012 until 2015, 3 years passed. I've been tested several times a year in the hospital, in the MRI. And at the end of 2015, I couldn't take the medication anymore, because the medication that I was given, it caused other symptoms. They did help me with the inflammation of the AS, but they did cause problems with the digestion and some other mail system problems. So I really tried to do everything to not to take them. Okay? However, it was very painful, and I reached a point, where actually nothing was working. We were losing the startup. I had to break up with my best friend because of that, because we were doing it together. And everything seemed like I was burnt out, and I couldn't take the medication, and at the same time I was suffering. And I was talking to a lot of people about this problem, and someone told me, hey, maybe you should try to look into meditation. And I was very far away from any of that stuff at that time. Okay? So Carl, you have heard about meditation. Have you
Yes.
tried to meditate?
I tried meditation just in ice cold water,
Uh-huh.
and my general meditation is the sport, so the exercising, something like this. And but in general, no.
Okay. So, but you haven't tried. Have you tried any meditation modalities? Have you tried mindfulness? Or have you tried anything? Never?
Never was never interested in this.
Okay.
And,
Okay. Have you ever felt that sometimes you cannot stop thinking?
yeah, sometimes. Sometimes when
Okay.
there are a lot of things in my head because of the job, because of the life of my wife, and so on, family. Yeah.
What I mean is that usually the type of thoughts that create anxiety, they usually are what if type of thoughts. What if she leaves me? What if I lose my job? What if I lose my startup? What if? This was my case.
Okay.
So what I've realized was when someone suggested to me that maybe you should look into meditation, maybe your pain in your back is not pain in your back. I mean, the pain is in the back, but maybe the root is not the back, because usually the general medicine treats the symptoms. So when I went to the hospital, I would get an injection of, I think it was some kind of steroid.
Okay.
So they would inject me there where the pain is. That's how usually everything is treated. You have pain in your knee, you get treated in your knee. Nobody at that time even came close to suggesting that it might have something to do with the psychosomatics, or it might have to do something with the childhood trauma, or it might have to do something with breathing incorrectly, which was my case. Okay? So at the time of the suggestion, in all honesty, I had really nothing to lose anymore, because I knew that we are about to lose the company. And by that time, we were approximately minus 12 million euro. And I was solely responsible with the investors who they believed my best friend at that time, because it was originally his idea, but I was in between. So I was looking at breaking up the relationship and losing my work as well. My spouse at the time, she was indicating that she wanted to divorce. Plus I was sick. And I thought, I don't need any of this money and all of these dreams if I cannot enjoy them, if I'm sick. And the only thing that I thought, which I haven't tried, is to do the meditation, okay? Is the truth. However, before I got to it, I would say the whole of 2015, because I was doing a diary. I started to do a thorough diary. The doctor, he wanted me to write what I've eaten and so on. So since 2012, I was already writing things down. And I didn't do that before in my life. So I was already aware of a repetitive nature of our lives and the circumstances. For example, I noticed that every month, approximately at the same time, I would have an argument with my business partner. So I knew that like tomorrow or within a couple of days, we're going to have an argument. And yeah, sure enough, it happened. So I saw the cyclical nature. And then I started to notice that sometimes I didn't take the naproxen 500 and the sulfasalazine, which I was prescribed, but I was feeling fine. I had no symptoms. So I thought, okay, what is going on during this time where I'm not taking the medication? And I had weeks, sometimes like maybe 2 weeks at a time, where I would feel light, I would feel healthy, I would feel great. Maybe something is causing it. Maybe it's not in the body, maybe it's something else. So I had a bit of faith that it could be solved. And it's a very important aspect. I had a really big why to solve this problem. Okay? And I had a little bit of faith already. So also the doctor from the beginning, he wanted to put me on something which is called Humira. Humira is a biological drug. You have to inject it in your stomach. And it was an experimental drug. And he was very eager and pushing it. Come on, let's do it. Let's start the therapy. He said that he got a grant and the injection was 1,000 pounds per injection. Okay? And he was very excited about it. And I got a chance to read about it, because before I didn't know what was wrong with me, remember? But after I got the diagnosis, I started to read on the forums, and I read some articles, some posts on the forums where people said stay away from it because they started it, but it influenced their immune system so bad that they got very easily sick with something else. Okay? So thank God I didn't do that. And I got a bit suspicious, to be honest with you, when he was eager and pushing that. I thought, no, I'm gonna do it my own way. I think my build and my psychological, my persona is a person who wants to solve problems and who wants to do everything and like fix things. Yeah, it also helped me to fix myself. So what I did was, I already had a diary at that time. It was very scary for me. I still remember it. You can feel it, you can see it. I wrote in the diary a question. How do I cure myself? That was the very important aspect of this. It was a firm decision and a belief. I had nothing to lose. I want to try it. And I was scared to write it because I was scared that, what if it's not going to work? You know, you have this, you had this fear of failure, like everyone probably going through. It's just a normal fear of failure. So I wrote it down. I made a decision. And then within a couple of weeks, I found something, some meditation. It was the first meditation that I've tried was geometrical meditation. It was a geometrical object. And what you had to do is you had to stare in the middle of the dot. There was a dot in the center, yeah? And it was a set of cards. It was a deck of cards. And there was 52 cards, and each card had a sentence on them. And to each card, there was a little text saying what's this card is about. And because I'm a very impatient person, I'm not. I don't have the patience to read the instructions. You know, like when you get the furniture from IKEA, I would already be starting. You know, like, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. So the same here. Yeah, I opened the instruction and I just wanted to do it because I wanted to get healed. Yeah. So I started. I did read a little bit about it. Basically, I started with card 1, and it was called thought, and there was a text about thought, and I did that. Nothing really happened. And then the next day, I did again, and the next day I tossed the cards. I thought, let me just toss them and see which one comes up. And funny enough, the one that came up, it was called the healing side of pain. That was the sentence on the card, and the description of that sentence was, maybe you should, instead of fighting with your disease, just see maybe there is an advantage. Maybe it's trying to tell you something. Maybe it's making you grow. So fall in love with it, accept it. And I really like that idea because I was always afraid, oh, now I'm going to feel pain. Oh, now I'm in pain. Now I'm going to hurt all the time. I was, what these thoughts, you know? And here I was given another perspective. So I tried that. I was in the bathtub. I had this corner jacuzzi. I went there, made it warm with salt. You know, it relaxes me. And I looked at that card and I kept on repeating the sentence. And I got into this feeling, you know, really just, becoming friends with it. And I repeated the sentence and I repeated the sentence and repeated the sentence. And after 15 minutes, you had to close your eyes. And after watching for 15 minutes this geometry, you would actually see it with your closed eyes. And you know, it really made me relax that day. So it gave me more faith that, something, the pain and this disease, it has something to do with what's going on in my mind. And so the next day, I tossed it again. And the card 43 came out, I remember. The card was called Drop Your Expectations. And when I read the text about it, I realized that I was constantly creating expectations from everyone around me. And then I would get disappointed when people didn't live up to my expectations. But this one that I was disappointed in mostly was me, of my poor results. And I really liked that idea. So I went into the bathtub again. I looked at that card, and this third time, I dimmed the lights, I put the candle lights up, and I remember that I made a construction of a flashlight, because the card is a paper card, and I wanted to look at it, and I wanted to be lit. So I put the flashlight, and the light was hitting it, and I just looked at it, and I started to repeat the sentence, dropping my expectation, dropping my expectation, dropping my expectation, dropping my expectation. And I kept going, and I kept going. And that's what I did for 15 minutes until I literally passed out. Because have you ever tried to get up quickly and you get black in your eyes?
Like
You
a
know,
blackout,
everybody
yeah.
tried that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you just,
I know.
yeah. So that happened with me in the bathtub because I moved, I think, and I got this little microscopic blackout, and I just fell into the bathtub for maybe a second. And when I got out again, the sentence was repeating almost itself. I was just catching up on it. The minute I got up from the bathtub, I went in with pain. When I got out from this blackout, the pain was completely gone, completely gone. I was like anew, but I didn't have any thoughts. I only had the sentence connected to a feeling of understanding that this is the major causer of my pain, that the stuff that's going on in my mind is causing it. And now I only have one sentence in my mind. And from that night, I fell asleep before my wife. Usually I would be up until 3 a.m. watching, movies just to fall asleep because I couldn't.
Relax.
I fell asleep before her. I woke up early. I went out to the garden and started to make fire. I started to love the nature like never before. And the sentence would not leave my mind for 3 consecutive weeks. For 24 hours, morning and evening, I was repeating that sentence. And during those 3 weeks, everything was like a red carpet in front of me. I lost the fear of flying. I usually hated to fly. I was very scared. I always would drive. I would drive from London to Hamburg for the meetings. Yeah, I always driving. During those 3 weeks, I went on three flights. I lost this anxiety, and it was as if I got a new life, completely new life. Like that was the breakthrough moment for me that really gave me the belief that it has something to do with my mind, and that I had fixed it. I really thought I fixed it. But we had a crisis in the company. I was saving the company. I was in liquidation. I had to let go the whole team. I had to try to save the company. I was trying to save the company. It was very stressful, and I were in meetings. And what happened was that when I was alone, I could repeat the sentence. But when I had to talk like I'm talking with you, I can't be talking, listening to you, and talking something else
at the same time.
So it started to wane off. And slowly, because I had many difficult meetings during that time. Slowly, the pain started to come back. I got scared again. I thought, oh no. But I realized I cannot be repeating. I didn't know it was called a mantra. It's called a mantra, this thing. I didn't know about it at that time because I didn't read about any of that stuff. I was just a guy. Okay, I was just a tech guy, an entrepreneur. I was not into any of this, any meditation stuff, I had no idea it was called the mantra, but that's exactly what it is. And it's one of the paths to get to silence is through mantras. Yes, many people do it. But in the tech world, when you have a hot burning startup, or if you're in an office, it doesn't work. It works when you're by yourself, okay? So I realized that, okay, it doesn't work. But I want to solve the problem, and I know that I can. So what I did was, I got a book of the same person who developed the cards. I have a book about my method. Everything is there, so I won't go into like more details. But basically, it worked, so maybe something else will work. So I got his book, and in the book there was a meditation, and it was about the chakras, the lotus flowers, opening up, and all of that. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna give that a try. And of course, I didn't finish reading the book. I didn't have time. I just wanted to go and do it. And there was only 1.5 page about the instructions on how to do the meditation. And so I went and do it. And I went and tried to do it. And it didn't work for me because I couldn't imagine
First of all, I didn't believe in chakras. I need to feel, to touch, to know in order to believe. Okay, and at that time, I couldn't imagine them. And the way that meditation was described, it didn't do it for me. But what did for me is what I'm going to teach you right now. Okay, so now I think you got enough background, and you know my why I had to do it. And now we're gonna go into the actual practice. Okay. All right. So the chakra purification meditation was about opening up your chakras, and it was described as you had to do 7 breaths, and you had to go through each of your chakras, imagining the color of the particular lotus opening up in those chakras. Okay, so I tried that. That didn't really work, but I kept going because I knew that every time I tried, I felt good. What did work for me was the count, and that's what we're going to start with right now. So right now, get yourself comfortable. However, you can just be sitting as you are, because my method, it differs from everything else out there, is that we don't need to change location. We don't need to be in quiet spaces. We can be at our desk in a busy environment. Okay, and everybody, all the Grims, bratva, let's do it. Connect with us. Let's do the breathing together. Get ready. Just stay where you are. You don't need to go anywhere. If you want, if you can, of course, it's gonna be better. But this method is about being there and doing it right there, right now, when it's hot. Because that's exactly when I did it. When I was doing it in my garage, I was saving a startup from falling. I had meetings, I had calls, I had 30 mails a day, and during my lunch break, I did my breathing. Okay? So right now, let's do 7 breaths. Okay? Do it together with me. 3, 2, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. I want on the next inhale, everyone, to particularly focus your attention on the stomach and inhale into the stomach first. Inhale. And on the next inhale, you're thinking inhaling stomach, center, throat. Inhale. Inhale always through your nose. Inhale, stomach, solar plexus, throat. Okay, on the next inhale, inhale less volume, but just longer. Okay? One more. And one more. Nice. How are you feeling?
Fine.
What do you have any? Yes. Did you notice any change or?
Everything's fine. I'm
Okay.
calm, I'm relaxed.
Okay. Yeah, it's amazing just how breathing makes us very quickly relaxed. I wanted to mention that when we come to this world, we do our first inhale. I've witnessed that when my daughter was born. I was in the room, and life starts from the inhale, and it ends when we finish. We exhale our last exhale. You need to think about this very important fact. It's been scientifically proven that approximately an average human being has about 650 to 700 million breath cycles, so inhales and exhales. So if you think about it, we are experiencing life between each one of them. Do you realize that? So the whole experience of life is between that inhale and the exhale. And we start off very silent. We start off this pure child. No thoughts, no worries, nothing. And it's breathing. And then we start to build up life. Okay? Now, because I was guiding you, I wasn't actually counting the breaths. And we were supposed to do 7 of them. We're gonna do 7 of them now, but this time we're gonna count them, okay? And you're gonna count them together with me. So everybody, bratva, Grims, look at me with your eyes open this time. When I'm gonna lift my finger, I'm gonna be counting the breaths, okay? Are you ready?
Got it.
Yes, so now we're gonna definitely take 7 breaths out of the 700 million right now. Ready? 3, 2. Okay, great. Now we definitely did 7, okay? Now, this time, we're gonna do 7 more. But I'm gonna add, let's call it an ingredient, because it's a breathing formula. It's my breathing formula that consists of 49 breaths in total and 7 different syllables. Before we get to the syllables, I want to tell you that, remember that I said that the counting was working for me. Yeah, counting the breaths. Now I was counting for you by lifting my fingers. We're gonna do 7 breaths again, but I want you to keep a focus on my fingers, and I want you to do the count inside of your mind with your voice in your mother language. 1 oder 1 или раз or 1. But you do that at the exact time of your inhale, okay? So you're not just counting. Братва, мы не просто считаем дыхание. We're not just counting our breathing, or we're counting our breaths. We're counting out of those 700 million, these exact breaths that we're taking right now, okay? Ready? Count with your voice. 3, 2,
Zwei.
Aber nein, weil du kannst das nicht sagen. You can't count at the same time. This is good, we're recording.
Yes.
It's the tricky part, bratva, Grims. That's the tricky part, because we can't actually do it out loud. We can do it inside of our mind, and I want to tell you that my method can be done in a meeting, and nobody knows that you actually will be sitting there and counting, and you will really be present. The point is that you do it everything inside of your mind. Everything happens in there, okay? Life happens in there. So count at the exact same time of the inhale, just inside of your mind. So let's continue from 3, okay?
Und 3.
I just wanted to tell you that it's very important that first in the beginning, I was counting, inhaling, exhaling. And then one day I did a hiccup
Like this.
and I counted and I inhaled and I thought, oh, I saved time, because the most precious thing is time, especially for busy hustlers, for busy grooms, for busy people. So I saved time on doing my cycle by counting at the same time, and it was tricky. Now we move on to the next ingredient. Now I'm gonna count, you're gonna count, but this time you're gonna add a visual count of the digit that you verbally count. So when you say 1, I want you to imagine the digit 1, and this should be done with eyes closed. So Grims, close your eyes there. I will count with my voice. This time, yeah, you repeat verbally the count with me, but add the visual part of the count inside of your mind at the exact same time of the inhale, okay? We're syncing the counts, verbal, visual, to the inhale. Close your eyes, everybody. 3, 2, come back. How was counting with your voice and visualizing for you now?
Easier than before.
Easier?
Yeah, for me easier because I was able to close my eyes. And then
Okay.
it's better for me, just for me to relax when I close my eyes and do the breathing.
Absolutely.
And I do the same when I go to the water, to the ice cold water.
Perfect. It's always easier to close our eyes, and we will be doing everything with our eyes closed, and that's how I did it. However, you should know, true mastery is done with the eyes open at some point, and you can do it with your eyes open anywhere at any given time. But imagining the digits in the first instance, of course, it must be done with eyes closed, because it's pretty much impossible to do it with the eyes open, because you are seeing the picture that you see. Okay, perfect. So what I want you to understand now is that, do you realize what you have done now? You have focused on 3 different things at the same time. You have been inhaling, that's one focus of attention. You have been counting with your voice, that's an action. And you have been visualizing with your imagination. And you've done that synchronized, simultaneously. That is the prerequisite, that is the requirement in order for us to stop the thinking. That is the first step, is to be able to focus our attention on 3 different objects. And it's not, many people are not able to do it because there is a common misunderstanding in the world. People say focus your attention on 3 different objects. People start to focus on the plant, on the camera, on the screen. But that's only one focus, because it's just a visual. You see, there's only one action. That's one point of attention. That's why it doesn't work to watch, for example, a spot on the wall. It's one of the techniques that people use to stop thinking, just watching a dark spot on the wall. It doesn't work at the end. You need to combine the normal actions of your brain, which for any busy person is to breathe. Yeah, for any person, we need to breathe to live. So we must do that anyway. And we count throughout our lives. We count money, we calculate time, probabilities. We're always counting, making the calculations. So it's something that, it's an ingredient for our brain we need to feed it, and it makes it relax, because the brain doesn't care whether it's counting the breaths or it's counting the money. It gets its food just by counting. And another thing which we all do, we imagine how we drive that car, how we build a business, how we make love, whatever. It's a picture, it's a mental picture. And it doesn't care whether we imagine a digit, a geometry, a lotus flower, or a woman. It gets its ingredient, the brain gets its food by imagining something. So by combining these 3 actions, or points of attention, which I call them, they synchronize your hemispheres. Because one hemisphere is for talking, the other is the artistic one, is for imagining. Plus there is a counting factor there which is involved. All right, so that's what you have been doing right now. And this is just 50% of it. Now we're going to move on to the exhale. Okay, everybody? Bratva? I hope that's all clear. Is it clear for you?
Fine.
Good. So we've been only talking about the inhale. I recommend for everybody, when you will be doing it on your own, is that you always inhale for approximately 5.5 seconds. And you exhale for approximately 5.5 seconds. And you don't stop. So it's like, because that is scientifically proven, the heart coherence frequency, or the distance of heart coherence. It's scientifically proven that this connects the brain to the heart. So they make the connection in that time frame. Okay, so just by doing that, even without adding the ingredients, you will automatically sync. Okay, and why not sync everything together? This goes for the inhale. For the exhale, we will be, as I mentioned in the beginning, the lotus purification meditation, which was the foundation to my method. It involved the seed syllables. It's ancient seed syllables which come from the Tibetan parts. They also come from the Hindu parts. They are, I think, they're quite universal. And they go like this. So there are 7 of them, and each one of them has an impact on the particular chakra. So for the root chakra is Lam. Lam. And for the sexual center, or the lower dantian, which is just under the belly button, it's Vam. Mm-hmm. And for the solar plexus, it's Ram. Mm-hmm. And for the heart, it's Ya. Okay? For the throat center is Ham. And the world's most famous one, it's Om. It's the third eye. It's actually the pineal gland and is the center between the hemispheres. It's Om. And the 7th syllable is It's very symbolic. Because what happens here, you're like a tree. You go from here, here, then you flower, and then you go back to the earth again. Because when you say you can feel that you're coming down. And this is like being part of the global cycle. Now, what did the syllables do? Well, to me, the syllables, they're like a symbol of our talking. Because all day long inside of our mind, we're blah, 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 la, 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 da, 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 bam, 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 ra, ra, ram, la, la, lam, ya, ya, yam, om, om. They are symbols of this vibration, of the sounds. And have you heard that everything is a vibration?
Yes.
Okay, everything is a vibration. And everything is a description. And what you know about your life is a description of what you're thinking. So what we do with my method, we are breaking up the description, and instead of talking like about my constant expectations to my partner who were late and who he promised to do that, he didn't do it, and now I have the right to be upset at him, all of that stuff which has been going on in my mind, I swap that to Lam, Vam, Ram. Because the brain does not care. It does not care what to talk. It just wants to do that because it's a habit that we have gained when we came to the world. Every single person which we have met even before we were born has told us something about the world. Oh, the world is like this or like that. Or you should not behave like this. This is not good. Or you should not talk bad or this. And this has created us. And we keep on creating and creating that. So in order to change that, you need to break up the description. And we know that our life happens between the first inhale and the next one and the next one 700 million times approximately throughout the whole life. So to me, of course, it's obvious. In order to have a big impact on our description and on our life, is to go and penetrate there and try to do something in there. It's obvious. I mean, is it clear?
Yes.
Do you understand what I mean?
Understand what I'm doing.
Yes, it's very simple. Okay? And that's what we're going to do. This is the exercise. Of course, originally, the syllables, because everything is a vibration and it has a different key. You can sing them out loud. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, and so on. And you can do that inside of your mind, and they will create the same vibration as out loud. But you can't be sitting in an office and singing syllables because your colleagues will think he's, gone. That's what I have experienced when I started it, because I tried to do that, and people were like, everybody started to take distance from me.
Yes.
So I thought, I can do it inside of my mind, okay? And nobody will know.
Yes.
And I can sing as Pavarotti inside of my mind. There is no, you don't need to have a musical ear or to train your voice. You can repeat any song. You can sing as ever you want inside of your mind. And when you shift your attention to these spots, you can sing into them. And it's more of an advanced level. You need to get a hang of it, okay? But it's another very important fact which I want to tell you about the point of attention is that, as I mentioned, I needed to have proof, right? So the chakra, the lotus didn't work because I couldn't feel it. I didn't know about it, didn't believe in that. However, when I was singing these syllables, or in the beginning, I was actually just saying them, lam, like very boring, yeah? I could feel that they stimulate something there. And I can prove it to you. So put your just hands on the chest. Inhale, everybody, bratva, with us together. Don't be shy, and just say, yeah. Again. Yeah. This sound, yeah, yeah. You can feel something in the center of your chest when you say that. Now place your hands on the throat and say, do it together with us. You can physically feel that this vibration, it stimulates that part. Inhale again with me. Inhale with us. Om. When you say Om, it vibrates there. Yes? Yes? So it's like going to the gym of vibrations, where these vibrations, you will really feel that they stimulate something in there for you. That's what kept me going, because every time I did it, yeah, I could feel the vibration, just even by singing inside of my mind, I could feel something there. That kept me going. And when I was doing that on my own, each time I did it, it gave me more and more feeling. And when I was doing it, I wasn't doing that which was causing my disease, my pain. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't worried about what if the company ends? What if I lose all this money? What if she leaves me? All of that. I wasn't thinking about that when I was counting and singing inside of my mind. Okay? Before we do the complete cycle, we are going to, together, everyone, we're going to do something really special. I've never done this before. I'm going to be guiding you for 7 cycles manually. With my voice, I will be your machine. What I want you to do is, I want everybody to take a piece of paper now, or your phone or your device or whatever you have. I would suggest to take a piece of paper. It's the easiest and the simplest thing, and that really works. Yes, perfect. So what I want you to do is now write 7, just write 7 on the piece of paper and write X. So you write 7 times LAM, L-A-M. And you can write in your mother language, in your mother tongue, whatever language you speak. Of course, it's better that, because you have a deeper connection with that, okay? So 7 times LAM. Now write 7 times VAM, V-A-M. Great. And now you write 7 times RAM, R-A-M. And 7 times YAM, Y-A-M in English, and in Russian it's Ya and M. We have a letter for Ya. And now 7 times HAM, H-A-M. And 7 times Om. And 7 times Ah. It's just A.
Just
Yeah, it's just A or Ah. However, I recommend just to say Ah, and don't make the sound. Okay, so what you see there, you have 7 times 7, correct? And 7 times 7, bratva, it gives us 49. So when I was doing that, I played a game. Because we all like games, right? We really like to play games. I know I do. As children, as young boys, we played games like everyone did it. And it's something so deep for us. So I was actually playing a game. And the game was not to lose the count. I made it a quest for me. I have even been recording myself on tape to hear, did I really count 49 or did I miss something? That was one of my rules, to count exactly 7 lams, move on to count exactly 7 vams, 7 rams, 7 yams, 7 hams, 7 oms, 7 ahs. The next challenge was for me is to remember the syllables, because I couldn't remember the order. So what did I do? If I lost my order, because when you're gonna do it on your own, bratva, when you're gonna do it on your own, Carl, suddenly you will realize that the thought has taken you away. And it's okay. Let the thought take you away. Come back to the count. And what I noticed during my practice was that I suddenly got almost a panic attack. Where am I? Was I at 3 ram or at 1 yam? And I started over again each time. And I did that for a long time. But then one day I realized it doesn't matter. Why not I just trust myself and continue from where I thought that I left? And that was a key moment that gave me so much confidence in myself, because I realized it doesn't matter where I left. What matters is I reached the goal and I finished the cycle. So the third rule of this game, if you started the cycle, finish it. If you're in an office or you're working, you're just doing your formula cycle, right? And you're somewhere and somebody came in and interrupted you. Yeah, speak with the person. Come back and finish the cycle. It doesn't. You can come back to it even an hour later. Finish the cycle. Because remember, we are in a cyclical reality. We have the lunar cycle, the solar cycle, the daily cycle, the yearly cycle, the mother fertility cycle, the rabbit fertility cycle. We are in a cycle. So it's very important that you finish it. Okay? That's how I did it. All right? So, to complete my formula, you have been counting your inhales. You've been verbally syncing the count to the inhale. So, you have added a visual aspect of that count, and you can add the digit 1 or a dot or a line or a hieroglyph, whatever you want. Okay? On the exhale, we will be singing the syllables just inside of our mind. Today in the masterclass, I will be singing them to you as a whisper. Okay? The reason for that is the whisper, it relaxes us automatically, because you have heard your mother's inhale and exhale when you were in the womb. It's your precious. And everybody's whisper is very individual, of course, a totally unique whisper. Okay? So I will be whispering the syllables for you today when we're gonna do the full 7 cycles. We're gonna be doing 7 cycles, by the way, together. You will be just repeating after me. Okay? But once you learn it, and I want you to learn it by heart, you will be able to do that on your own, inside of your mind. inside of your mind, wherever you are, whenever you are, you will see that one cycle relaxes you, second cycle takes you deeper, and then third, fourth cycle, you're gonna be sitting up and sleeping, literally. Okay, that's how it works. Before we start off, I want to tell you that there is one particular detail which you can add, which will make the formula complete. Add the visual part on the exhale of the syllable as well, Carl, and everybody, okay? So we have been inhaling, counting, visualizing the count, syncing, and on the exhale, we exhale singing, so we sing to the, we sync the singing to the exhale, and we see the digits LAM, and that's why I asked you to write it down on the piece of paper, because when you wrote it down, you can just imagine the letters as you wrote it down. That's how I did it. First, I was just imagining those letters. It's different for people. Some people write it with image, like it's different for everybody, but that's just one of the ways, okay? In that way, you have completed a loop. There is simply no possibility for your brain to slip a thought in between. It's impossible. You will see, but it's gonna try. And that's perfectly normal, okay? You just keep going. It takes a little bit of time, and as with all the habits, you know, it takes 21 days, but I would say 28, because the lunar cycle and the woman's period cycle is 28 days. It's all connected. So for 28 days to get like a really serious result, like something that you can really feel that, yeah, it takes 28 days. There is no way around that, okay? It should be practiced at least for 28 days to get a result, like with everything else, and to gain a new habit, and so that your brain feels and you get to hear your individual silence, because your individual silence, where is it? Where do you think it is?
I don't know.
So our attention, imagine, is a barcode laser. You know, you go grocery shopping, they scan the barcode, they get information, right? So there's a laser scanning that. Your attention is a laser, and it can only process one thought form at a time. And a thought form, it's a talk with a visual. So it's our count. So you say car, and you can see the car. And at any given one time, the laser of our attention, so our processor, is like a bottleneck. It can process only one of those. So if you're counting and visualizing on the inhale and you're breathing, and then you're exhaling and singing and imagining your brain is occupied. So the silence is in between the inhale and the exhale, of course. Because each thought is like a train. It's a train with carts. And you know, a train, there is a room there. So what you will be doing on your own, you will be stretching the train carts until eventually you're gonna break them away. Okay? That's how it works. Okay? I can talk forever, but I don't like talking, because talking is a contradictory of silence. I like doing. So now we're gonna be doing one cycle. Carl is gonna be sitting up, doing it sitting up first, one cycle, and then I'm gonna place him to lay down. And I recommend, of course, that you can do it in any position. You can even do it walking, okay? But I recommend in the beginning, do it sitting down, because I want you to really feel and really understand and believe that it can be done anywhere at any place. In the plane, in the taxi, in the Uber, especially during the turbulence, when I used to get scared. Not scared anymore, because when you're counting, you know you're counting your breaths, and if you're counting your breaths, you're alive. If you're alive, everything is okay. Alles gut. Все заебись, братва. Okay, everything is great. I did an experiment during the dentist when it hurts, counting, and the dentist asked me, "What are you doing? Why are you not nervous?" And I said, "I'm doing my thing." I did it during gastroscopy. I didn't get an injection. I didn't go into theater. And usually they do that. And I said, no, I don't want it. I'll do it. And they thought, you're crazy. I did it. Okay? As long as you keep the count and you maintain yourself within the algorithm, as I explained it, you'll be fine. You will not even experience pain. Yes, you will feel the pain is there. Okay, I'm breathing. I'm okay. I'm counting. I'm okay. Okay? That's why I want people to actually do it in the most uncomfortable, loud, noisy spaces, locations, because that's what it's designed for. But of course, I love to do it laying it down, because you get to experience it, get to really relax, and you really get to go deeper. Okay? Let's do it. Okay, so bratva, everybody, what we're gonna do now, we're gonna do one cycle, full cycle, without me interrupting. I'm just gonna be breathing and counting and singing the syllables for you. You will be repeating with me, and you know how to do it. Try to do it your best, the best way you can. Don't worry about making the mistake. Don't worry if you forget the syllables. I will be singing them. That's how I did it. I want you to experience that. I want you to forget them. I want you to figure it out on your own. Okay? The first cycle we're gonna do sitting up, and then I'm gonna lay everyone down, and we're gonna continue the 6 cycles laying down. Already now and before you do your practices, when you're gonna be on your own, always, this is a very important aspect of the practice, you clench your fists like this. Okay? So you have this nail touching that. You don't need to clench them really hard, but you just clench them and you just place them on your hand, and you place them on your laps. And when you will be laying down, you're gonna just, place them beside you. The key moment for everybody that you have shifted the brainwave state will be the minute that you forget that you have clenched your fists. Okay? That's when you will know, okay, now I am in another state of perception. Okay? So everybody get ready. Remember the syllables: lam, vam, ram, yam, ham, om, ha. Okay? Carl, and everybody, this time just close your eyes, because I will be counting for you, and you will just be breathing, imagining the digits, singing the syllables, either whispering with me or just, saying them inside of your mind. And just don't worry about anything. The most important thing is not to do it right. The most important thing is to just do it. Okay? So ready? Yeah, the master cannot lose the count, okay? So let's get ready, guys. Clench your fists. Just relax your shoulders, okay? Just relax your jaw. Relax your lips. Relax your tongue. Relax your head and your shoulders. We're always inhaling through the nose, and we exhaling through our mouth. Or we can exhale through the nose if you decide to choose to sing inside of your mind. Also, all of these syllables, apart from ah, they have an M on the end. Pay extra attention on the sound. So let's do it.
you.